We have so many roles in life. So how do we combine what we do for passion for business?
Like I'm almost torn in half. Like I have to be this person and this person and this person and this person
Yeah.
all at once and not at all.
Through the conversation, of course, we build relationships, but it's a deeper conversation on life-related topics.
That relationship is something that like I can't claim to have full and complete trust in myself, but I can claim to be along the journey. If holistic abundance and aligned wealth is something that you have been ready to receive for longer than you'd like to admit, then you need to join us for this conversation. Because that's why we have Elle here today. She's going to tell us a little bit about herself, why this topic matters to her, and why it absolutely should matter to you. Elle, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Shauna. It's so great to be here. Thank you, everyone. And I'm excited to be here. I'm excited for this conversation to develop it further and get to talk about it.
This is going to be amazing because you have quite the story. So, what the first thing I'd like to do is invite you to tell everybody about yourself. What brought you here in the first place? Why did you want to come on a podcast and shout about holistic abundance and aligned wealth?
Absolutely. So I have been building Women of the World Network. So I'm the founder of Women of the World Network, a community for multinational women in business. For the last couple of years, I'm a speaker. I'm an author. We have published several multi-author books in the community. We have our own podcast, which, proud of everything we have accomplished. But we have been really so we still are supporting women in business, and what I've realized is the part that was kind of missing in our community is giving support to women in life as well as business. We are busy people, we're busy women. I'm a busy mama myself, I'm a busy business owner, I'm a busy partner and wife, right, and a daughter and a sister. We have so many roles in life. So how do we combine what we do for passion for business with our living? And so that's the concept I want to talk about today.
I can dive into this head first, because I have to tell you that all of the conversations I've had recently have always kind of had a caveat of, how are you? Oh, I'm good. How are you? And then there's like a pause, and it's always with women. I mean, men experience this in a different way, and and it's real and valid for them as well. But it seems always with women this pause that says, and here's where I feel like I'm almost torn in half. Like I have to be this person and this person and this person and this person
Yeah.
all at once and not at all together.
It's not easy.
I love the fact that you recognized that the services that you were providing were only honoring part of the people who you serve. This is something that is deeply entrenched in what I do, what I've always done. Way back, like a decade ago, when I was a copywriter, I used to say things because I had children back to back, starting about a decade ago, and I used to say, I don't stop being an expert copywriter while I'm wiping my baby's bum, okay? And that was my shtick. That was the thing I said. And so
I love that.
I love that you're doing this. So what I'm curious about right now is just within the Conscious Women of the World
Mhm.
community, how have you integrated that life part of it? Because I mean, we say life like it's just life, but it's so multifaceted. How have you incorporated that within that community while still supporting, of course, the business side as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So we now have two lanes. So we started with one lane, which was business, and we still have that. And when I say business, what I mean is we support women building businesses through our accountability calls every week. We have co-working spaces twice a week. Everyone and anyone in the community can come and join. We have speaking opportunities. And one of my absolute passions and desires was this community in the first place when I launched it was giving women a voice, right? And so that's why we published multi-author books. We have four of them. Um, We have podcasts, like I mentioned, and we have speaking opportunities for women in our community to speak, like we had yesterday. We had our monthly online networking. So all of this is still happening within the business lane. Um, but then within the life and conscious leading, that I like to call it, lane, um, we do it through the what's called FFF Club, Free, Fulfilled, and Fabulous Club, where we come together and it's a the format is of course a little different, where we don't necessarily do the networking, even though through the conversation of course we build relationships, but it's a deeper conversation on life related topics such as preventative medicine, such
Mm.
as travels, such as the embodiment. And when I say embodiment, I do that through dance. I'm a dancer, so I'm bringing the dancing, the movement into the meetings when we meet. And that's an FFF club, Free, Fulfilled, and Fabulous Club, for busy women, for ambitious women, for professional women who really just want, we talk about purpose and passion and joy, and all the roles, right, that we have to. And so that's kind of the two lanes that we now have. One is a business one, we still have that one, and then another one is a conscious living, which is called FFF Club.
That makes so much sense. It genuinely makes so much sense. And now, while I love the idea of talking about how important it is to have that accountability, to have those working meetings and the networking meetings for business, I think that for the purposes of this conversation, if it's all right with you, I'd like to lean more into the other side.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
this is, I think we kind of mentioned this. It's not talked about enough. This idea that you are a whole and complete human, and you're allowed, and in
Yeah.
fact, in my world, you're encouraged to tap into that wholeness, to really lean into what does it mean to bring yourself alive. And you mentioned three things. You mentioned, I believe it was freedom, fulfillment, and fabulous.
Yeah.
And fabulous. And
Yes.
so each of those segments has to do with that holistic life, um, whatever this is.
I, yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
for anybody who's just
Abundance
listening,
and all of the,
I'm rubbing my
yes.
fingers together. It's the sticky stuff that holds it together. It's the sticky stuff that holds it together. So let's look at these things in buckets. So first of all, freedom. I kind of know what freedom is when I think about it at a glance type of way,
Mhm.
but my hunch is telling me that it's more than that in your world.
Yeah, so when I talk about, yes, it is freedom, fulfillment, and fabulous, exactly that, and that's what the FFF Club is. So let's talk about freedom. Freedom to me is, and what we do is we divide it into kind of um, two areas. And I love talking about inner freedom, and I love talking about outer freedom. What do I mean by that? Inner freedom is really, and we have a multicultural community, like I mentioned, right? So women from all over the world, different backgrounds, different upbringings. When we are born in different cultures, in different households, in different, it's we bring diversity, which is beautiful. But with that, we also bring whatever we grew up with, whatever our beliefs are. And we talk about things like we do to ourselves. We, self-sabotage, for example,
Mm,
perfectionism, for example, boundaries, things like that, that sometimes we create things like self-sabotage, perfectionism, when we stop ourselves, right? So that's, to me, is the inner freedom. It's really developing ourselves from within.
that's
Some
really
of these things,
powerful.
thank
To
you.
me, that's sounding like not just freedom, but like it's deeper than that. It's also trust, like
Yeah,
of
yeah,
yourself. And
exactly.
that relationship is something that like I can't claim to have full and complete trust in myself, but I can claim to be along the journey and farther along than many. And the self-trust piece that
Mhm.
comes from what you're referring to as inner freedom,
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
life changing.
Self-trust. I love that. Exactly. How often do we don't trust ourselves. How often do we stop ourselves because that thought came, oh yeah, I probably shouldn't, or and so now in adding another layer to it is this concept of that comes from generations, right? That
Yeah.
and and I love that we are talking about it now in today's world, because I think it's so important to talk about where we come from, but also what's there that might influence how we're living today. This transgenerational transition, I think it's called generation transition or things like that. So it's a very interesting concept to me. But anyway, on a big picture, so inner freedom. And then the outer freedom is how we create money in our life, how we make money, how we generate money, how much money we want to make. No number is small or big, right? Depending on each one of us. And so we talk about that in the outer freedom. So that's the freedom section divided. And then fulfillment is where we talk about purpose, where we talk
Mhm.
about joy, where we talk about what is your happy, like what is happy for you, right? Because it's so different for a lot of us, the way we define true happiness. Um, and I think it's important not to get into this ambition, the wheel of ambition, where we just go, 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 go.
Mhm.
And one day we wake up and okay, why am I doing this all, right? And so that disconnect sometimes might happen from the true purpose of why, of true purpose of living, right?
That's
How many of
really
us?
cool. I just
Yeah.
had to write that down. And if anybody, I
Yes.
just want to make sure that I'm not that I'm not the only one who really feels like I got smucked in the heart with this one. The will of ambition, the idea of go, 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 go until you wake up and you don't really have what you thought you wanted, or maybe you have what you thought you wanted, but it
Yeah.
doesn't feel like you thought it would. And I think
Yes,
there's
exactly.
something really
Right?
interesting about that. This is the idea, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but what I heard is like in what we hear in the media today is that hustle mentality. This hustle, hustle, hustle until do the grind and you'll get what you want, or that idea. And that's that will of ambition. And if you'll entertain me for a moment, you reminded me of something that I like to talk about that's called grounded luxury. And when I talk about
Mm,
grounded luxury, I talk about, and I actually have a physical response when I talk about it. I ground myself. My feet
love it.
separate, and they flatten on the ground, and I feel this groundedness because I center myself in the present reality, right? This
Yes.
idea that our world is as it is,
Hmm.
my world is as it is, and I need to function within that space. And that's the grounded part of it. The luxury part of it is not the will of ambition, but almost like the permission to be ambitious, right? The idea that you can aspire for more and still appreciate where you are.
Exactly. Exactly.
And that ambition leads to the luxury, and I think this is where you're talking about when you're talking about what brings you joy and fulfillment and purpose. Is luxury
Yeah.
really different for different people? For somebody, maybe it's a penthouse and a Lamborghini. That's not for me. For
Hmm.
me, it's a quiet piece of property, a big garden, hummingbirds.
Oh,
Something.
beautiful. Yes.
That to me is wealth. The idea that I can just set up my easel outside and paint my own
Yes.
garden or my own lake. And simultaneously, because I love what I do, come in, host a beautiful call, learn, thrive. Like that is my luxury. And we can have different luxuries while being grounded in the present and appreciating the present. So it sounds to me
Absolutely.
like your fulfillment, your purpose, that's what we're tapping into. And it's hard
Mhm.
to know that without the support of a community to help you kind of flesh out that inner knowing.
Yeah, and exactly that. And I love that you tapped on hustle, right, culture,
Mm.
because and don't get me wrong, there is nothing wrong with having an ambition, right? Like we need to take action to build the lives we desire. Like it takes action. We cannot just, you know, we
Button.
have to take action, do things. And ambition is right when it's put into the right purpose, I think, when we know exactly what we want and we put the towards that direction. And that's where I love to talk about this idea of aligned wealth, right? That's part of the FFF. That's where the FFF, because it's aligned with who we are. I love the grounded luxury because, we are connecting to our roots and to who we truly are. And everything is coming from there. If you want a garden and that's your joy. Some days I really honestly don't want to go sleep because I want to be already wake up and doing what I love to do,
You've got
right?
FOMO for the next day. That is the cutest thing.
For the next day, right? FOMO for the next day, that's it. You know,
Oh,
or I want to just the night go quick so I can just, already wake up, maybe just 1 hour, okay, and then do. And don't we want that every single day? Don't we want to have that where we loved, the day we lived, and we're looking forward to the day tomorrow? And I think somewhere between the lines, between this hustle and between go, 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 and do, and say yes to everything that's coming your way, we lost that part of it a little bit.
it's
And I
that
think
zest
it's just
for life.
important to come back. Hmm.
It's that zest for life. We've only done two out of the three. We've only spoken about two out of the three things that are in that lane of the
Yeah.
conscious
Hmm.
women of the world. And like I don't have my wallet on me. How do I opt in? Like I'm just like, this is it. This is it. This is what we need. And I can't omit the last one because come on, fabulous. Let's go. Like how are we
Yeah.
where does fabulous come in? Because this is like one of those things where it could go anywhere. Like fabulous. Let's go.
Yeah, exactly that, right? Like fabulous. What is fabulous to you again? What is fabulous for you to you? But what we do talk about there is really preventative health and preventative medicine. I love the educating myself, and I've been actually educating myself since high school. I've just been interested in
I like
health
that.
and preventative health, right? Like how do we, and so today it's biohacks. Like I love learning about different biohacks that we have available for us today and that are coming more and more. And so the medicine of today is really, it's interesting to me how
Yeah.
all these things, are coming in the world to help us, but there is not much education maybe about around that. Yeah, so we talk
Especially for
about that,
women. Especially for
especially
women.
for women.
Yeah.
Thank you for saying that, because exactly I was going to say that for women, preventative women health, preventative, or even just generally women health issues that we have, but sometimes we need someone to talk about them. Those issues. In our house, or we don't whether we want to talk about that only women deal with. And generally, usually medicine was built for just people, just human beings.
It
But
was
men
built
and
for men.
women health,
Let's be real, okay? It was built for
yeah,
men. Men
yeah.
did studies on men and then falsely attributed it to the experiences of women. I'm sorry, but I'm a bit of a feminist and I'm just like, come on. They think
So we need, yeah, exactly,
they were
exactly.
using water to test the absorbencies of tampons. This is like
Hmm.
that's not the same.
Yeah,
It's not the same. That
yeah,
can't be the same. And
yeah,
we need the studies, we need the conversations, the matriarchal conversations around health for women. So that is huge. And actually, if you don't mind, I'd like to share a journey of mine just to see if anybody
yeah,
resonates.
absolutely.
I got to a point. I'm a lucky one, and I'm okay with talking. I'm an open book. P.S. If anybody has questions, please reach out. I'm totally an open book. Um, I went through my life very lucky when it comes to menstruation. I was very even keel, no really big problems until I got to close to my mid 30s. The problem that arose were menstrual migraines.
Oh,
Huge migraines at least once a month, right
oh
around that
no.
time. At least for one day, I was out. I had to be in my bed, cold pack on my head, medication, lights dimmed, everything. That never happened to me before. And I thought, what is
Hmm.
happening? I had to reach out. I asked my doctor, I asked a few people, and they were like, They just kind of brushed it off to the side until I was able to talk to another woman who had been through this, who was, I think at this point was
Mhm.
perimenopausal. And she was saying, yeah, that's hormones. The hormones shifted and now it's impacting the way your
Oh.
brain is responding. And she, not the doctors, she was able to give me preventative, not medication, but preventative methods to help with that. One of those things, PS, being water.
Mhm.
I, for some reason, would dip in my water intake right before, and it would impact my headaches. Interesting. There were a few other things that were given to me as tips and tricks from a woman.
Mhm.
So I share this story with you because I want our audience to know how important that fabulous part is, that idea of preventative, not necessarily medicines, but preventative
Yeah.
um, lifestyle changes that
Yes. Changes
seriously impact
exactly.
all of it.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
this is where I think
Absolutely.
we previously mentioned self-care, and this is where I want people to know that self-care isn't always bubble baths and getting your nails done. Self-care
No,
is drinking water,
no,
talking
yeah.
to women,
And
educating yourself.
sometimes they are simple like that. They are simple like just water. And we just miss it because we don't even believe that it can be simple like that. We don't know. And then if we go to the doctor, we will be prescribed something, you
Yes.
know.
or
Yeah,
or told that you're over exaggerating or dismissed in some way. Oh, that's just normal. No, it's not normal. It's not normal. I think there are skits about this. So
yeah,
truthfully, your FFF, free, fulfilled, fabulous. It is what you say it is. It's that holistic abundance. That's
yeah.
amazing.
It is. It is. And Shauna, thank you for sharing that story because I didn't know that story about you, but that's just, yeah, thank you for sharing. And I'm glad, you're doing better. It's not bothering you anymore. But how many of us, we don't know how it's all connected. Even in the body, it's all connected.
Hmm.
All these things.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got this journey within the conscious women of the world where you've got one lane where we're very hyper specifically focused on business growth, supporting one
Yeah.
another in
Mhm.
that space through accountability, through networking, through uh,
S-
working call,
Speaking as well. Oh,
and
co-working,
speaking
accountability.
and
Yeah.
co-working. That's the one. Yeah. And so we've got that lane. And then we have the other lane that allows us to function at our best in
Yes.
that moneymaker lane through, of course, making sure that you're feeling aligned, making sure that you're healthy, making sure that you've still got that zest for life
Mhm.
that can get lost if you're not allowing for the other side of things.
Yeah.
So this is the whole package. This is truly the whole package. And I feel like we've covered pretty much everything we could. However, you are the expert, my friend. And I want you to think for a moment. I'm putting you on the spot. I want you to think for a moment if there's something that we haven't touched on, or maybe something that we have that we need to revisit in a more specific way, something that our audience needs to hold dear, take with them, and maybe take action on today. I want you to be able to share that piece of valuable information. Now, I'm going to let you think about that because before you go and share your wisdom with the world, I want to remind everyone that this type of conversation happens every week. Every single week, we dive into this world of grounded luxury, this world of holistic business growth, of marketing with intention and purpose, and sustainable lifestyle entrepreneurship. I want you to be a part of that conversation. Hit the bell, subscribe so you know when the next one is coming, and please leave a message. Let us know what you think. What do you want to hear about next? Is there something bothering you? We'll dive into it. As I said, I'm an open book. Now, with that, I'll pass the mic over to Elle. Elle, I want to hear what you have to say.
Thank you, Shona, for having me today. And one thing that I want to share with you listeners that really helped me, and we do that in People Filled and Fabulous. So, is when you are dealing with a question, or you working on a project, or you planning for something, sometimes the answers come from like you not sometimes, actually all the time. Your body knows the answers, you know the answers, but sometimes they are not as clear, the answers. And so feeling it in the body helps. So the way your body feels, so the way you feel in the moment is your answer. For example, if I'm working on something that I'm preparing for our retreat, international retreat coming up, I feel the excitement in my body. I feel that's the right way. If I have a question, so try it and see if that helps you. And we do that through the dancing. At Women of the at Free Fulfilled and Fabulous Club, and here on screen, I invite you to join. It's just a 1 minute, 1 minute to Free Fulfilled and Fabulous. These are the reels, and you can subscribe to get them directly to your inbox, where we talk about these reminders. But hopefully try the body, try using your body as getting the answers from within, because that's one of the things. And if it doesn't feel good, if we have then it's probably maybe not, that's your answer, right? Not to do whatever that is. But that's kind of what I learned in this whole discovery of mine, and one of the reasons I decided to do FFF as well. But yes, thank you so much, Shauna, again for having me today. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Oh my goodness. No, honestly, it's been my pleasure and my honor, because I've been able to tap into some things that honestly have kind of gone by the wayside, not in my practice within my business, but that other side, the other lane, which I think is a really important thing to understand, that this is normal. Sometimes you're going to get into the other lane and you won't necessarily be as balanced. And I say that like this because I don't necessarily think there's a balance, but rather a flow. But you won't feel as aligned as you could if you don't get these reminders, if you don't speak to people like Elle who can say, hey, remember to veer right a little bit, my friend. So I want to encourage you to use the QR code here or the link in the show notes to access the 1 minute to Free, Fulfilled, and Fabulous. These are literally 1 minute reels. 1 minute, that's it. They get directly given to you and you can watch them, and it will take you on this transformative journey. So absolutely hop in there. I know that's my next step after we're done pressing and record. That's my job right now. And with that, I'm going to let you all have a great rest of your day. Don't forget to drink your water. Reach out anytime. We will chat soon. See you later.